Let's be honest, most of us don't spend our days pondering the origins of our dinner. We grab a package of fish, cook it up and call it a meal. But behind that simple act lies a complex story, especially when it comes to tilapia and farmed salmon. These two fish have become supermarket staples, promising affordable protein for the masses. Tilapia, often dubbed aquatic chicken, is known for its mild flavor and low price. It's a blank canvas for seasonings, making it a hit with busy families. Farmed salmon, on the other hand, offers that familiar pink flesh and rich taste we associate with this prized fish. But this convenience and affordability come at a cost, and it's time we took a closer look at what's really on our plates. This ain't about some elitist food snobbery. This is about understanding what we're consuming and how it impacts our health and the environment. So, let's dive in and get our hands dirty with the truth about tilapia and farmed salmon. Tilapia often gets a bad rap, and for good reason. Raised in crowded ponds, tilapia lacks the nutritional punch of wild-caught fish. It's low in beneficial omega-3 fatty acids, those heart-healthy fats. Some studies suggest tilapia may have an unhealthy omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. Farmed tilapia are often fed corn and soy, unlike their wild counterparts. There are also concerns about contaminants from pesticides and antibiotics. These can accumulate in the fish's flesh, ending up on our plates. Salmon, often hailed as a nutritional powerhouse, wild-caught salmon, with its vibrant pink flesh and rich flavor, truly earns its health halo. It's packed with omega-3 fatty acids, essential for heart health and brain function. But farmed salmon, often found in supermarkets, is a different fish altogether. Raised in cramped conditions, farmed salmon are fed an artificial diet with antibiotics and additives. This results in a fish lower in omega-3s and higher in unhealthy fats. So, consider the trade-offs between convenience and nutritional value. Fish farms might sound like idyllic places, but the reality is often far from it. Imagine cramming thousands of fish into cramped artificial enclosures where waste accumulates and diseases spread like wildfire. That's the reality of many fish farms, particularly those raising tilapia and salmon. These crowded conditions create a breeding ground for parasites and diseases, leading to the overuse of antibiotics, pesticides, and other chemicals. These substances can contaminate the surrounding environment, harming other marine life and potentially ending up in our food chain. Moreover, fish waste from these farms can pollute waterways, leading to oxygen depletion and harming other aquatic life. It's like creating underwater sewage systems, with dire consequences for the delicate balance of our oceans. The bottom line is that while fish farming might seem like a solution to overfishing, the current practices often create a whole new set of problems. Section 5. The antibiotic arms race breeding superbugs in fish farms. The overuse of antibiotics in fish farming isn't just an environmental concern, it's a ticking time bomb for human health. Just like in factory farms, the rampant use of antibiotics in aquaculture is contributing to the rise of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, also known as superbugs. These superbugs pose a serious threat to human health, as they become increasingly difficult, and sometimes impossible, to treat with existing antibiotics. Infections that were once easily treatable are becoming more dangerous, leading to longer hospital stays, higher medical costs, and even death. The problem is compounded by the fact that many fish farms discharge wastewater containing antibiotic residues into the environment. This can contaminate water sources, spread antibiotic resistance genes to other bacteria, and ultimately make its way back to us through the food we eat and the water we drink. The overuse of antibiotics is a global health crisis, and fish farming is playing a significant role in fueling this dangerous trend. Section 6. Frankenfish, the GMO salmon debate. The quest for bigger, faster-growing fish has led to the development of genetically modified GMO salmon. These Frankenfish, as some call them, are engineered to grow at twice the rate of conventional salmon, reaching market size in half the time. While proponents argue that GMO salmon could help meet the growing demand for seafood, critics raise concerns about their potential impact on human health and the environment. There are worries about potential allergens, the possibility of GMO salmon escaping and interbreeding with wild populations, and the ethical implications of manipulating nature for profit. The debate over GMO salmon is complex and multifaceted, with valid arguments on both sides. Ultimately, it's up to consumers to decide whether they're comfortable with this new technology and its potential risks. Section 7. The price of cheap fish. Environmental costs of aquaculture. The low prices of tilapia and farmed salmon often come at a hidden cost: the environment. The intensive farming practices used to raise these fish can have significant impacts on ecosystems, from polluting waterways to destroying mangrove forests. For instance, shrimp farming, often associated with tilapia and salmon production, is a major driver of mangrove deforestation. These coastal forests act as nurseries for fish, protect coastlines from erosion, and sequester carbon, mitigating climate change. Their destruction has far-reaching consequences for both marine life and coastal communities. Furthermore, the production of fish feed for farmed fish often relies on unsustainable fishing practices, further depleting wild fish stocks. It's a vicious cycle that's putting immense pressure on our oceans. So, while affordable seafood might seem appealing, it's crucial to consider the true cost of cheap fish and its impact on the planet. Section 8. The Bycatch Dilemma. Unintended victims of fish farming. Fish farming might seem like a solution to overfishing, but it can actually contribute to the problem. The production of fish meal and fish oil, key ingredients in farmed fish feed, often relies on catching smaller fish like anchovies and sardines, known as forage fish. These fish play a vital role in marine ecosystems, serving as food for larger predators like tuna, sharks, and seabirds. The demand for forage fish for aquaculture is putting immense pressure on these populations, disrupting food webs and threatening the health of our oceans. It's estimated that a quarter of all global fish catches are used for fish meal and fish oil production, highlighting the significant impact of aquaculture on wild fish stocks. This bycatch dilemma, the unintentional capture of non-target species, is a serious consequence of fish farming that's often overlooked. It's a reminder that our food choices have ripple effects throughout the ecosystem. Section 9. Mercury Rising, Heavy Metals in Fish. Mercury contamination is a growing concern in our oceans, and fish, being at the top of the food chain, can accumulate high levels of this toxic heavy metal. Mercury exposure can pose serious health risks, particularly for pregnant women and young children, as it can harm brain development and the nervous system. While all fish contain trace amounts of mercury, larger, longer-lived predatory fish tend to accumulate higher levels. This is because mercury biomagnifies up the food chain, meaning that as larger fish consume smaller contaminated fish, the mercury concentration in their bodies increases. Therefore, it's essential to be mindful of the type and source of fish we consume. Choosing smaller, lower mercury fish and opting for wild-caught options when possible can help minimize our exposure to this harmful contaminant. Section 10. Making informed choices, navigating the seafood aisle. So, how do we navigate the complex world of seafood and make informed choices that are good for our health and the planet? It starts with knowledge and a willingness to look beyond the price tag. Here are a few tips to keep in mind. Choose wild-caught over farmed whenever possible. Wild-caught fish generally have a more natural diet, lower contaminant levels, and support more sustainable fishing practices. Read labels carefully. Look for certifications like the Marine Stewardship Council, MSC, for sustainable fishing practices, and the Aquaculture Stewardship Council, ASC, for responsibly farmed seafood. Vary your seafood choices. Don't rely on just tilapia and salmon. Explore other sustainable and nutritious options like sardines, mackerel, herring, and U.S. farmed catfish. Ask questions. Don't hesitate to ask your fishmonger or waiter about the source of your seafood, fishing methods, and farming practices. Section 11. Sustainable seafood, opting for ocean-friendly options. Protecting our oceans and ensuring a healthy future for seafood requires a shift towards more sustainable practices. By supporting sustainable fisheries and responsible aquaculture, we can help reduce the pressure on our oceans and ensure that future generations can enjoy the bounty of the sea. Here are some ocean-friendly seafood choices to consider. U.S. farmed oysters, mussels, and clams. These bivalves are incredibly sustainable as they actually filter and clean the water they inhabit. Alaskan salmon, wild-caught. Alaska has strict regulations in place to ensure the sustainability of its salmon fisheries. Pacific sardines and mackerel. These small, oily fish are packed with omega-3s and are lower in mercury. Barramundi, responsibly farmed. Look for barramundi raised in recirculating aquaculture systems, RAS, which minimize environmental impact. By making conscious choices about the seafood we consume, we can all play a part in protecting our oceans and ensuring a healthy future for ourselves and generations to come. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like video and subscribe to channel for latest health content. See you in the next video.